Have you ever wondered if you might be a sociopath? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? Sociopathy, a personality disorder characterized primarily by a lack of empathy and remorse, manipulative behaviors, and a bold disregard for norms, is a complex and often misunderstood condition. It's not uncommon to misconstrue certain traits as sociopathic, given the wealth of misinformation floating around. But here's a fact: sociopathy is not as rare as you might think. In fact, studies suggest that 1 to 4% of the population could fall within the spectrum of this disorder, which equates to millions of people worldwide. In this video, we'll be presenting a quiz designed by experts to help identify sociopathic traits. It's not a diagnostic tool, but it could provide some insight into the workings of your personality. Remember, understanding our own minds is the first step towards self-growth. So let's delve into the mind of a sociopath, shall we? Question 1. Do you often feel superior to others and show it? This question zeroes in on a trait known as grandiosity, a common characteristic found in sociopaths. Grandiosity refers to an inflated sense of one's own worth, abilities, and achievements. It's not just about feeling superior, but also about expressing this feeling openly in various ways. For instance, a person exhibiting grandiosity might often boast about their accomplishments, no matter how trivial, or belittle others to maintain their self-perceived superiority. They might have an extravagant, self-centered view of their role in the world, believing they are destined for greatness, and may be overly critical of others who don't share their high opinion of themselves. This trait can be quite subtle, often masked as confidence or ambition, but there's a fine line between healthy self-esteem and grandiosity. If you answered yes to this question, you might want to keep watching. Question 2. Do you frequently lie for personal gain or pleasure? Now this is where we delve into the trait of pathological lying, a common characteristic of sociopathy. A pathological liar is someone who lies compulsively without a clear motive. This behavior is often automatic, impulsive, and is typically associated with manipulation or personal gain. However, it's important to note that not all liars are sociopaths. What sets sociopaths apart is the pleasure they derive from lying. They experience a sort of thrill when they successfully deceive others. This sense of triumph is often more important to them than the actual benefits they might gain from the lie. In essence, sociopaths lie not just for personal gain, but also for the sheer enjoyment of it. They revel in their ability to manipulate reality and control people's perceptions. So take a moment to reflect. Does this resonate with your behavior? If you found yourself nodding, let's move on to the next question. Question 3. Do you lack remorse for your actions? Now this is a rather intriguing trait that is commonly observed in sociopaths. Lack of remorse or guilt. What does this exactly mean? Essentially, it's like a missing piece in the emotional jigsaw puzzle. It's the inability to feel regret or guilt over actions that may have caused harm to others. For most of us, if we do something wrong, we naturally feel bad about it. But sociopaths, they are different. They can hurt others, physically or emotionally, yet not feel any twinge of regret or guilt. This doesn't necessarily mean they are evil. It's simply a different way their mind operates. They can lie, cheat, or steal, and still sleep like a baby at night. It's as if their conscience is on an eternal vacation. So, if you find yourself rarely feeling guilty for your actions, especially those that hurt others, you might want to take note. If you answered yes, you're not alone. Let's keep going. Question 4. Are you impulsive and do you often act without thinking? Impulsivity, ladies and gentlemen, is another common characteristic often associated with sociopathy. But what exactly do we mean by this? Well, to put it simply, impulsivity refers to a tendency to act on a whim, displaying behavior characterized by little or no forethought, reflection, or consideration of the consequences. For instance, imagine you're in a store and you see something you desire but you don't have the money for it. An impulsive action would be to buy it anyway, without thinking about the financial repercussions. In the context of sociopathy, this impulsivity is often coupled with a lack of concern for the feelings of others. They might make rash decisions that adversely affect those around them, without giving it a second thought. This characteristic, like the others we're discussing, is not definitive proof of sociopathy on its own, but it's a piece of the puzzle that can help paint a clearer picture. If you answered yes, stick around for the next question. Question 5. Do you have a hard time forming emotional connections with others? Now this question touches on a defining characteristic of sociopathy, the incapacity for love. It may sound harsh, but let's delve a little deeper to understand what this really means. When we say incapacity for love, It's not about whether you've been heartbroken or have difficulty expressing emotions. Rather, it's about a consistent and pervasive inability to form genuine emotional bonds with others. Sociopaths are often characterized by their lack of empathy, which makes it difficult for them to understand and share the feelings of others. This doesn't mean they don't form relationships. They do, but these connections are typically shallow and self-serving, lacking the depth and emotional resonance that characterize healthy relationships. So, reflect on your relationships. Do you find it hard to empathize with others and form meaningful emotional connections? If you answered yes, it's time for the final question. Question 6. Do you often manipulate others for your own benefit? Now let's delve deeper into this query. Manipulativeness is a trait commonly associated with sociopathy. But what does it really mean? Essentially, it's the art of influencing others in a cunning or deceptive way to serve one's own interests. It's about pulling the strings from behind the scenes, making others dance to your tunes without them even realizing it. Sociopaths are often crafty manipulators using charm, flattery, or coercion to get what they want. They're masters at reading people, understanding their weaknesses, and exploiting them for personal gain. The scary part? They do it without any remorse or guilt, viewing others merely as pawns in their game. So if you find yourself frequently manipulating situations or people for your own advantage, without any qualms, it's time for some introspection. If you answered yes, you might be wondering what this means. So, you've answered the questions, but what does it all mean? Well, let's take a moment to recap. We've journeyed through an array of questions designed to explore traits commonly associated with sociopathy, from empathy or a lack thereof, to impulsivity, manipulative behavior, and an inflated sense of self. Each of these facets offer a glimpse into the complex world of sociopathy. However, it's crucial to remember that these questions and your responses to them are not definitive proof of anything. They are merely tools to help you reflect on your behaviors and feelings. While they might indicate a tendency towards certain traits associated with sociopathy, a true diagnosis can only come from a professional. If you've found through this process that you identify with a significant number of these traits, it may be time to seek professional help. Psychologists, psychiatrists, and mental health counselors are equipped with the tools, knowledge, and experience to help you navigate these feelings and behaviors. If you're concerned about your traits, don't hesitate to reach out. We all have unique psychological landscapes. Sometimes those landscapes can be challenging and even scary. However, identifying and acknowledging these traits is the first step towards understanding ourselves better and seeking the help we may need. It's okay to need help. In fact, reaching out for support is a sign of strength. There are numerous resources available to support mental health. Mental health hotlines like the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline are available around the clock to provide immediate assistance. Online platforms such as Talkspace and BetterHelp offer virtual therapy sessions with licensed professionals. Local community health centers often provide mental health services, and your primary care physician can also guide you towards appropriate resources. Remember that everyone's journey with mental health is unique. There's no right or wrong way to feel or be. What's crucial is that you take care of yourself and seek the support you need. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and it deserves the same level of care and attention. In conclusion, whether you've identified with a few or several of the traits we've explored today, remember that this is not a formal diagnosis. It's simply a tool for self-reflection and understanding. If you're concerned about your traits, reach out to a mental health professional. They can provide clarity, guidance, and support as you navigate your mental health journey. And finally, remember that labels do not define you. You are more than a collection of traits or characteristics. You are a unique individual with your own strengths, weaknesses, experiences, and potential. Remember, understanding is the first step towards change. Thank you for taking the time to explore your psyche with us today.